And now back to the part, Boo, the beautiful but evil cat, destroyed. Visibility icons. Remember, here's the lock. Hey, I can select the background. It's locked. Hey, I can't select the background. Visibility. This toggles visibility, the little eyeball there. Same thing in Photoshop, so get used to that. Well, the lock works different in Photoshop. We'll get to there, but visibility works the same. Now, I cheated and pasted this artwork in, and it looks like text. It looks like I typed it, and originally I did, but this is not text. These are shapes, and I can prove it to you by clicking and dragging out these things, and some are grouped, some are not. Command Z, your best friend, to undo multiple times. In Photoshop, it works differently. We'll get to that. But for right now, I want to be able to move all this the same. But first of all, I can't really see that highlight around it, that little line. Hard to see. You want to change that? Double click out here, not on the name, double click out here on the layer, and you can pick any color you want. Wouldn't blue work a lot better if I click OK and then select this? Now I can see it. Now I want to move this, but I don't want to move them one at a time, you know, and I don't want to make mistakes. So selecting everything. I can click and drag out a rectangle, and notice how I didn't get the background because I locked it. Or conversely, let's say this is really complicated. You have multiple layers and you're trying to select something, but you can't just get what you want. If you work smart and you, cat once again on the keyboard, if you work smart, you can select by using this meatball, selects everything on the layer. And then finally, Command A selects everything that's not unlocked, including if you had multiple layers working. So just some shortcuts for you to know. But right now we want to solve this problem, Command Z. I want all this stuff to be grouped together. First of all, I would like to group the word nation all by itself because I don't want those letters moving around. So this is called marqueeing, dragging with the black arrow. You can click and drag out a rectangle. See those little dotted lines? And everything you go over is selected. Notice how Inspire and Innovation are not selected. And just for kicks, let's say I want to select everything except the O. I can hold down Shift and click on the O. Now, if I hit Delete, oh no, everything but the O is deselected. Command Z. So if I deselect and I want to select every other layer, click, Shift click, Shift click. And just to prove that actually happened, I can hit Delete and you can see those three letters. And of course, the modifier key in Illustrator is going to work differently than the modifier key in the Finder. You'll learn all this and life will be good. So back to what I wanted to do was to group that word. Command G. Can you get at this through a right click? I don't see it here, but it's under Object, Group, and probably if you right click, it probably shows up, does it? Look, the best thing to do, it's up here. The best thing to do is learn the shortcut. G, Command G, Shift Command G to ungroup, because we're going to do this again and again and again and again. Now I can't select just one letter. And I can select Innovation, separate, Inspire, separate. I can move these things independent of one another. But what if you want all of these things to move together and you want them to stay as a single group? Well, couldn't you just select them all and hit Command G? Now, when you click away and click on anything, click away, they all move together. Now, what about putting this in the center? Because they're grouped, this is now a single object. The Align tools are up here in the whatever this is, the control bar, but the Align panel is sitting right here as I bat the cat away from the keyboard. You can always find these panels under Window, right? Align. Now, by default, I believe this panel opens up like that. See these the little two-headed arrow? Clicking on that toggles through the different views in the panel. You gotta know to check this, because down here, what are you aligning to? If I had aligned a selection on and then clicked, hey, horizontally align that and vertically align that, nothing happens. If they were independent objects, something would very definitely happen. But I want to align this to the artboard. So I'm aligning to the artboard. We'll get to key object because that's really powerful too. Now, align center horizontally and vertically, puts this thing dead mathematical center. This is a shape, so that is true center. If this were text, this would not be centered, because depending upon kerning, tracking, leading, everything else, the nature of the typeface, it's going to land somewhere different. Just know that. Okay, so. Let's say this is perfect. It's not, and you'll find out later why it's not. But let's say this is perfect, except, man, I sure wish it was a little bigger. Now, should I do this? Should I stretch it like that or stretch it like this? I'm going to Command Z twice. I told you in the videos for the Gravatar, if you're going to resize something and you want to constrain proportions, you hold down Shift, right? Don't let go of Shift. If you want to resize from the center, you hold down Option and Shift to constrain. So get used to holding down those modifier keys. Shift constrains proportions, Shift and Option resizes from the center or draws from the center. Lots of tips in this video. Maybe you should rewind it and practice these things because they're important. Let's come back and I'll show you how to save this thing out and put it on your desktop.